A crazy scene in the mall at Bay Plaza over the weekend still has people shaking their heads. The whole thing on Saturday caught on video, young people running wild through the entire place. News 12's Noelle Lilly shows us the video that you'll have to see for yourself.
A stampede. Around 400 people mobbing the mall at Bay Plaza on Saturday. Viral videos online show mostly young New Yorkers running around the 3 floors of the mall, yelling and swinging chairs with cops chasing after them.
Not the store shutting down because of these teenagers.
Police say no injuries were reported, but shoppers I met near the mall today say it could have been a lot worse.
They're young, they're kids. It's the parents. It goes way back to teaching your child.
Shoving and fighting, these kids, they come over there, they're not supervised.
In some parts of the city, we've seen businesses enforce curfews or ban minors, but youth advocates say that's not a long-term solution.
We were all teens, but there were less cameras around when we were kids, right?
LaTanya Devon is the creator of Bronx Bound Books and works with Bronx House, a community center just 15 minutes away.
They have a lot of energy and they need a space, a third space where they can just be themselves and a space for them that's set up for them safely. Places like Bronx House offers a positive alternative for them to explore other things.
Last winter, police confirmed a brawl at the mall seen in another viral video. Mall officials told me the group was there on Saturday based on a false rumor about an influencer being at the mall, but they say the situation was quickly handled. On Ocean Parkway, Noelle Lilly, News 12, The Bronx.
We continue following breaking news out of Gravesend. A chaotic car crash along Ocean Parkway, leaving a mother and her 2 children dead and more injured, including children. News 12's Julia Burns is in Gravesend with what we're learning.
What was supposed to be a family stroll on a beautiful afternoon ended in a tragedy.
But I wish they could walk that way, right?
What happened?
And since I see the car swing like flip over and over, I just see the little kids flying.
Police say just after 1 this afternoon, this Toyota with taxi markings was turning on Ocean Parkway when it was struck by this Audi. Police say that Audi ended up striking a family of 4, killing a 35-year-old mother and her 2 children. We're told her 4-year-old son is now fighting for his life. A neighbor did not want to be on camera, but ran out when he heard the crash.
But the mother was under the car. Her legs was outside, her whole body was under the car. 2 girls that I saw, they were all blood.
Mayor Adams and NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch on scene to address the community, identifying the driver of that Audi as Miriam Urimi, who they say was behind the wheel with a suspended license.
This was a horrific tragedy caused by someone who shouldn't have been on the road.
As for the Toyota that appeared to be a taxi, police say there were 5 passengers, a driver, and another mother and her 3 children. Thankfully, all are expected to be okay. Right now, police say the investigation is ongoing and no arrests have been made, but police say they are looking into the light sequence to see if a red light was run through. In Gravesend, Julia Burns, News 12 Brooklyn.
An Orange County EMT who was recently named Employee of the Month is now accused by state police of stealing from a patient while on duty. Authorities say 37-year-old Max Reeder is facing a misdemeanor petty larceny charge. While working for Town of Wallkill EMS last month, he allegedly stole money from a patient in his care during transport. The EMT was named Employee of the Month by Town of Wallkill EMS in November, but a representative says that he is no longer employed there. He was given an appearance ticket and is due in Wallkill Town Court later this month.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Aisha McKenzie, and we start with breaking news at a Bridgeport tonight, where a police-involved shooting leaves 1 person critically injured. Our Frank Recchia is on the scene right now with the very latest. Frank?
Aisha, we're at Kossuth and Spring Streets here on the east side of Bridgeport, where you can still see an active crime scene. Police telling us the Office of the State Inspector General is investigating this officer-involved shooting.
Video captured by Doing It Local shows the first moments after gunfire broke out just before 6 at night here in the 1400 block of Kossuth Street on the east side of Bridgeport. Police and EMS can be seen gathering around an ambulance with the victim inside, then rushed to the hospital. A short time later, as night began to fall, details began to emerge, with police saying simply there was an officer-involved shooting and the Office of the State Inspector General has taken over the probe. Plenty of raw emotion here as people on scene could be heard crying and shouting, one man verbally confronting an officer, with the officer himself simply listening until the person left without incident. It wasn't immediately clear what led up to the shooting, but a crime scene that extended for multiple blocks closed off traffic for hours. As police began leaving the scene, a light mist quickly turned to heavy rainfall. Whatever happened here already bringing about a flood of tears.
And police not yet releasing the name of that victim. In Bridgeport, Frank Recchia, News 12, Connecticut.
Brentwood dad, an NAACP leader, is suing over the school district's new mascot. Teams are now called the Spartans after the state ordered schools to stop using Native American imagery. But as Nicolette Schleisman reports, the father says the new name sends the wrong message.
I can't fathom nor entertain or tolerate the glorification of any people group who were proud, violent enslavers of others.
William Moss says he's upset about the newly chosen mascot for Brentwood, the Spartans.
Why would a school district purposefully choose to show racial glorification, to show racial inequality?
So he filed a lawsuit against the district, claiming the racial and gender inequality that stems from the Spartans is deeply problematic, and that there was not due process in selecting the mascot. The Spartans were a warrior society in ancient Greece and excluded women from the military. Moss's lawsuit claims Spartans enslaved indigenous people and are a symbol of white supremacy.
While the district declined to comment on this specific lawsuit, they say that the Board of Education led an inclusive process in choosing a new mascot that involved students, staff, and the community.
And then the schools will get also to choose out of those 5 mascots that they select.
The district changed the name after the state's ban on Native American mascots.
I hope we get to a common ground.
The district says there were several phases of community input for the new mascot, and Spartans was selected after getting the most votes from the community. Nicolette Schleisman, News 12.
Moss says he went to the Board of Ed multiple times with his concerns. In court documents, the district said he failed to raise a constitutional violation and establish the use of Spartans as a hate symbol.
Local lawmakers are sounding the alarm on President Trump's education cuts. State officials say 20 public school districts will see cuts to critical infrastructure projects. This as the White House tries to claw back $85 million. Governor Murphy condemned the move by the president, Murphy calling the federal cuts devastating. Newark, East Orange, and Patterson City public school districts are among those affected. Check the full list right there on your screen.
A teenager is in the hospital after a truck driver hit her in a crosswalk and then took off. The scary scene was all caught on camera. News 12's Lisa LaRocca is live in Yonkers with the latest on this story. Lisa.
Yeah, it happened right here on very busy Sawmill River Road. If you've ever been here or driven on this road, you know how busy it is. Happened right at this crosswalk here. Now, pretty amazing. You know, so many of us see things you don't want to get involved, but this time a Good Samaritan did in fact get involved, and that helped police make an arrest. And we have some video to show you. We're stopping it, of course, just before the girl was struck, but just take a look here. This was about 3:30 Thursday afternoon here on Sawmill River Road. We're right near Barney Street. A dashboard camera from a nearby vehicle captured the whole thing. You can see the teen getting off the Beeline bus, then start to cross the street at the crosswalk, and that's when she was hit by the bus. Now, Yonkers police say the driver of that truck just kept going, but a person who saw the accident not only called 911, but then followed the truck, and that gave Elmsford police enough time to set up a traffic stop. And it wasn't long after that that the truck driver, whose name has not yet been released, was taken into custody. Now, people living in this area were shaken, of course, by the accident. They say this road can be dangerous.
This is a pretty busy road, and there is a speed limit, but people, sometimes you see people ride over there like 50 miles, and it should be only 30.
Yeah, I mean, you know, early this morning it started. We could see trucks and cars driving through here, so you have to be so careful. Now, the truck driver is now facing charges of leaving the scene of an accident with injuries. That girl did suffer several fractures, we're told, but the good news is we got word last night that she is in stable condition, so really happy to hear that. Of course, we'll keep you up to date on the investigation. We're in Yonkers in Westchester County. Let's go back to the studio.
We do begin in South Jersey. One man in Burlington County is now a hero. He leaped into action to help save his neighbor from a house fire Wednesday morning. News 12's Sarah Good was on scene.
We're here by the home on Lockley Drive. Police tell me 2 people were inside the home at the time and were both medevaced to Temple University Hospital. One was rescued thanks to a neighbor who saw the smoke and ran across the street.
I was leaving to go to work, but I was actually 5 to 10 minutes just running late fixing my lunch. And that's what made me stay. And that's when I saw it, so yeah. Had I left, I probably wouldn't even been here.
Albert Oliver saw smoke coming out of the windows on the home. He grabbed his jacket and a fire extinguisher to rush across the street.
And when I came over to the door, it was like sort of open. So I started hollering his name. Nobody responded. And then the smoke was too thick to where I couldn't breathe, so I had to come back out.
Emergency personnel arrived on scene around 8:50 a.m. Police officers tried to help inside the home, but were met with the heavy smoke. A 9-year-old woman was also in the home at the time.
Billowing black smoke. I couldn't really see too much. I had to bend down, maybe like waist high.
He asked his neighbors to call 911, went back inside the home. When his 89-year-old neighbor emerged from the kitchen, he grabbed him and brought him outside. The smoke too thick to go back in.
As a result of rescue efforts, 2 officers did go to the hospital for smoke inhalation. Both of them will be okay. The victims from inside the home were airlifted to Temple.
The police department gave thanks to the officers and also the neighbor who took action.
You never think it's going to happen to you. That's what I thought. And when you see it, it's like, wow. I'm just helping my neighbor, that's all. That's all.
The cause of the fire is still unknown, but the preliminary investigation reveals the fire started in the back of the home. We still don't know the condition of the 2 individuals that were medevaced at this time. In Burlington, I'm Sarah Good, News 12 New Jersey.